Hello. Um, it looks as though I'm live again on YouTube. Oh, wait, what's going on here? It appears as though. I'm going to just triple check my Stay tuned. Relax. Yeah, horror movie Fanatics, Scary Projects is live. Okay. So here we are. We're streaming again. Oh, shoot. I need to test it out. I have a feeling that I'm still not 100%. Yeah, horror movie Fanatics, Scary Projects is live. Okay. Oh. So here we are. We're streaming again. Oh, let me just go over here. We're going to be professional down the road, folks. This week is just setting all of the everything up. Okay? This week is setup, 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 more setup, and then setup, and then setup, and then setup. So that's this week. Next week, I should have figured... I kind of already know most of the everything, but there's always the fine details of stuffy stuff that you have to kind of work through, and it appears as though I'm doing that. I want to play video here to see how it's going.
The final segment, for me at least, if you're ready.
Right.
And I want to talk a little bit, you may want to comment on this, but I want to explain a little bit about the mask mandate here in Texas. I think it's very important. There's a lot of confusion about it.
See how it's going.
If we can actually pull up that next. This is the actual wording from Governor Abbott on masks in Texas, because you never know this from the final media segment coverage. For me, at least, the governor said every person in Texas shall wear a face covering over his nose and mouth, but I want to explain inside a commercial entity or other building or space open to the public, or when in an outdoor space, wherever it is not possible to maintain 6 feet of social distancing from another person, not in the same household. This is not a mask mandate. Again, not a mask mandate. What it is saying that if you cannot maintain social distance, you should wear a mask indoors or outdoors, and this is what we've had all along. And what's interesting is someone pointed this out on a great Facebook group that I'm in, Open Texas. There's no enforcement mechanism in the governor's mandate for businesses. So the idea that a business says, hey, you can't come in, it's illegal for you to come in without a mask because the governor said, read it, he doesn't say that. There's only a provision for finding an individual. So if I go into HEB and I start breathing on people 2 feet away, coughing on them, then I could face this $250 fine. So it's not to say that it's great, but there's no enforcement on the individual, you know. And the same is true actually with the local. And it's interesting, I was looking at some other county mandates and city mandates, and they're all pretty much identical to ours here in Lake Jackson. Which is not that you have to wear a mask, as the media portrayed it and our own local paper portrayed it, but what it did, and it did elsewhere in other counties in Texas, it said, you businesses, you must develop a plan, a business plan, which include a health and safety policy. Not that you have to force masks. You must have a policy, and you must post it on your business, saying that if you cannot distance while you're in this business 6 feet, then you should wear a mask. That's all it says, and it's been so misrepresented. And you go into the stores, Dr. Paul, and everyone is droning along with their mask, 99% of the people. You have to read the legislation. You have to, not legislation, you have to read these mandates because they know they can't force it, so they're weaseling around it.
You know, in medicine, there was an answer to this because it was voluntary. If somebody was sick and had a deficiency in their immunity, or we were doing surgery, it wasn't discussed. We just did it. So it was targeted. It was done all the time. I spent a lot of hours with a mask on. But this is different. This is being mandated and claiming that it's going to keep you from getting an illness that's going to kill you. And I think there are two main reasons why I think that we should do our best to dispel the fear of of not having people wearing a mask. First, it doesn't help the health. If it's targeted, for these incidences, yes, we will do that, but not for everybody. Doing it every place you go, and there's no proof that it's really cutting back down on the disease. And also, it's the issue.
Those videos are playing really poorly. I want to just try a different one. Oof. I'm not looking forward to this. I know he's going to love it because he's a lefty and he's brain dead. I don't know. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today I'll be reviewing The Invisible Man 2020. What you can't see can hurt you. Written and directed by Lee Winnell, starring Elizabeth Moss, Oliver...
Okay. So, is this a good movie? I don't know. I won't see it because Blumhouse is on boycott from me. But I think Lee Winnell, okay, just like the Upgrade film, I think these are good, well, W-E-L-L, done. Well done, okay? The problem is the commie infiltration, okay? Now, the commie infiltration into Upgrade was he is a stay-at-home dad. Now, you could say that that's not too bad. That's just a little bit. But then you get into the don't abuse me with your gender pronouns, chick, girly girl, 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 hacker. Right? So, but then that was just in and out again. In and out. In and out. So, so she doesn't spend much time in front of your face. But it's still, Jesus Christ. It was a good film. I know they had to emasculate the guy because they're making him a superpowered white man. So they need to smack him down a few pegs. Because that's what commies do. And the amount of commie is off the charts. Okay? Do not tell me that I am over-exaggerating. Do not tell me that I have a problem. Do not tell me that I have a problem. I'm oversensitive to the commie. Because the commies are canceling everybody. This is the digital lynching. This is communism. And if you don't understand, go get a brain. I'm not doing it here. This is about horror movies. And they're burning cities to the ground. So do not talk to me about the fucking... Black Lives Matter is a communist organization. And everybody's bowing down to kiss the feet. Do not come at me with your... Gary, you're just exaggerating. You're saying too much. No, I'm going to be oversensitive over the commie infiltration of all of the everything. And you're either going to take it or go away. Got it? A or B? So, in Lee Winnell's last Blumhouse film, Upgrade, it was a good film. It was well done. All of the goody good. Lee Winnell can do the job. Well, very well, in fact. But... like I said, him being a stay-at-home daddy boy toy, stay-at-home boy toy, and then you run into gender fluid fucking chicky hacker person. Ugh. It was unfortunate. But it's like, okay, I got a good movie here. My name is Lee Winnell. I got a good movie here. Here it is. And then it goes to the commie editors, the CIA communist editors of the thingy things. And they go, well, you need to inject some communism in this film before it could be made. So here, just make him a stay-at-home dad and then bring in some, you know, gender non-binary hacker chick. There. Okay, now you can go make your film. And he did a good job. It's a good film. Okay? Outside of those commie elements. But with this one, Invisible Man, they literally just, they're just stealing the title again. It's kind of like another Black Christmas. Although, I do believe, although I will not see it, listen to me carefully, I do not support communism, and I will not see this film. I know enough about it that I will, you know, I know enough about Jason Blum and his communist mental insanity that I will not be participating in any of his anything. I might even skip the Halloween film. Like, I mean, he has fallen off the cliff all of the every way. Like, he has completely fallen off the cliff here. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know what to, you know, so is this another Black Christmas except for a better done? They just stole the title. It's got nothing to do with an invisible man. It's an invisible suit. The purpose behind evilness in the original was the potion is actually, that made him invisible, is actually making him evil. But in this one, it's just your standard abusive husband. In the original, the movie is about the Invisible Man. In the remake, the movie is about his girlfriend, and he's not even dead. He's just like a tortured, like, and when you go down this road, it doesn't even make any sense. Why would you go through all of this trouble to torture your wife? Just tie her up in the basement and, you know, add snakes and rats and stuff. You know what I mean? Just chain her up in the basement and torture her that way. Why would you go through all of this? If you're literally just an asshole that is looking for ways to torture your wife, or should I say ex-wife, or whatever it is, right? Why would you go through all this trouble? Why not just chain her up into the basement, drug her, chain her up into the basement, and then torture her? Why would you fake your own, invent a suit, offer her money if she stays sane, and then try to make her insane? So the premise of the movie is stupid. Now, is it well done? Probably. Lee Winnell is behind the thingy things. But it seems to me just an excuse to bank on the name, The Invisible Man, and just make a story about another shitty man. You know? Another woman victimized by another man. The one thing I will say is he doesn't look all that white. Actually, let's find out. Which is interesting. I don't know who it is. Nobody knows who that is. Right? I think Chicky Poo has had a couple of things in her life, but nobody's ever seen this guy. Wow, he's Jewish. His mother, and his father was Egyptian Jewish. So he's a mix. Jewish, Egyptian, and white. Technically, by the rules, I'm pretty sure that from the rules of Jewish Jew, he's not Jewish. He cannot be, because the mom has to be Jewish. And if dad is Jewish, like, mom actually has to convert. But Egyptian Jewish is a weirdy one. To me, I didn't think that the Egyptians really liked the Jews that much, and I thought they would have got rid of them long time ago. But I guess I could be wrong. I don't know. I have no idea. So that's his sort of, sort of Mediterranean look, I guess is the Egyptian. And then the Jewish is, I guess just the name. But he'll come across to most people as just white, which he is half white, according to this anyway. So but I'm just like an abusive husband, And, you can say that, Gary, you're being too sensitive. You're just being too sensitive over the commie agenda. Yeah. I've seen all of the everything. Shut up. I've seen it all, and I see where it's going, and cities are burning to the ground, and there's no end in sight. It's only going to get worse. So the fact that I'm calling it out, people should be happy about that, right? I mean, really, do you want all the cities to burn to the ground? What's going to happen when Trump wins again? Are they going to burn all the cities to the ground? It's getting out of control, and you know it is. It's hard for you to call me overly sensitive. Hollywood is the propaganda arm of communists. They're all one brain. They all think exactly the same. They're all communist retards. Twitter idiots. They're all the fucking same. And if they're not the same, they pretend to be the same because they know if they were to speak out in any other way, then they get canceled. That's communism. All the cancel culture, everything is communism. It's spying on each other. The communist people, toppy people, understand that they can't control everybody, so they need to employ each other to cancel each other, to police each other. That's communism. When everything needs to be policed, every thinky think, every thoughty thought needs to be policed, you need to employ the citizenry to do it. And this is communism light, what's happening now, the cancel culture and all of the shit. This Puritan bullshit. And one good kind of thing that comes from it is Hollywood is canceling itself. But I mean, did Hollywood think that it was going to get out of this unscathed? I mean, just ready, nowy, now. N-O-W, now. There's a movie with two black guys in the shooty shoot copy cop movie. It's called Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys 3. Or whatever. So what, during the thingy thing, the make of that movie, they didn't realize that they themselves were being insensitive and politically incorrect? But that's communism. It's not supposed to make any sense. It's just supposed to be retarded. So literally, they make the fucking movie and release it, and then 3 months later, it's politically incorrect, and it should never have been made. Maybe it would get a pass because it's black guys blowing smoke up the policey officers' assies. I don't know. But as soon as you start calling me overly sensitive, I'm going to say, well, enjoy your cities burning to the ground, dumbass. Hollywood is the propaganda arm of leftism and is spiraling out of control. Now, don't get me wrong. Trump isn't God save the whatever, anything. He's a loser, do-nothing bitch. There's no wall. There's no wars that ended. He has done nothing. He has flushed the country down the toilet with the flu. He's playing politics instead of protecting people. Oh, I'm just going to let the cities burn. Yeah, forget about all the citizens that are in there. Just remember that if Trump is going to put politics ahead of you, when they come to burn, when the commies come to burn the city down, Trump is just going to sit there with his arms crossed and go, well, see, this is good for me. It makes me look good watching, see the leftists do all the crazy. And I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. And if you're caught in the crossfire, if you're caught in the middle of it, well, fuck you. Because Trump's politics are, Trump winning the next election and Trump being popular is more important than him doing the one legitimate job that government could, should, would do. Protect person and property. The one fucking goddamn legitimate job, or the one thing that you pay them to do, he decides to sit back and do nothing because it's making him look good. That's politics for you. That's Trump. A do-nothing bitch. As long as he looks good at the end, that's all he gives a fuck about. Fucking egomaniac, garbage, do-nothing bitch. He's got nothing accomplished except for problems. Country down the toilet for the fucking seasonal flu. All your gay friends up there encouraging everybody to be fucking retarded and paranoid of the fucking air. Stupidity. Absolute garbage. So if any of you leftists think that I'm some massive Trump supporter, think again. Now, so like I said, this is more Hollywood bullshit. This film it's just like Black Christmas. Blumhouse touches something and then it instantly turns into fucking beyond brain. So, the original Invisible Man was a kooky looky dooky wookie story about a guy playing with invisibility potions, and then oopsie daisy, it works. And then, his friendly friends, girl and boy, his friends, realize that, this chemical that he used is going to turn him crazy. So he slowly turns crazy, insane, murderous, and terrible, bad person, while he's invisible, and he disappears himself He runs away to look for his own cure. But as he's by himself off looking for a cure, he is slowly turning crazy because of this chemical. So his evilness was actually not due to himself. But this guy is just an abusive husband. Like, how do you go from A to B, other than it's the same thing with Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, right? How do you go from, why is it always the same agenda? It's the same thing. It's always the fucking same. Communism. So you fucking go ahead and tell me, you want to laugh at the conservatives, you want to laugh at right-wingers that, oh, you guys are just so sensitive over all this leftist stuff. Yeah? Yeah? You're burning the fucking cities down. That's where your stupidity leads. Burning the fucking cities to the ground. Terrorizing people. Murder, mayhem, chaos, destruction, violence. So don't give me your shit. We've been warning against this. We know where communism goes. We know that you are communists. And we know where it leads. And it doesn't matter why you're a communist. Maybe you're just empty-headed retard. You're completely zero-brained up there. You have nothing going on between your ears. Maybe that's why. And you just, communism, that means everybody's equal, right? That sounds good to me. Let's just do that. You're still advocating evil. Even if you're just a dumb, innocent person. Right? Hitler was also a leftist, by the way. He was a socialist. National Socialism, which are the Nazis, were right up, snuggle close to the socialist and the communist. There are only minor differences between the two. Your regular, standard liberal is further right than your Nazi, National Socialist. So calling Nazis far right is stupid. It's wrong. Get that out of your brain. You're an idiot. Stop. Stop now. Hitler and the Nazis were right up close to the commie socialists. They're one and the same. The differences between the two are negligible. Almost nothing. They're the same. Dictator and socialism. Dictator and socialism. Same shit. Slightly differences. I understand what the differences are. Do not at me with your dumb. Okay, you don't need to educate me with politics. You can educate me with a lot of things, but not politics. You will never, ever be able to introduce something. We could have a conversation and you could offer things up to the plate, and then I respond to it, but you won't be educating me in any way, shape, or form, so don't even try. Don't try to, I'm libertarian, period, end of story, all the way to the end. And I understand politics better than nearly everyone. You will not help. Like, there's a lot of things that you can educate me on. Politics is not one of them. I am right, 100%, and that's all there is to it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about anything about that. So, now, so once again, turning a quirky, lurky, dirky, worky little story into an abuse, a silly. Now, I guess it was well done. I'm not going to see it. I saw Upgrade, but I think that was the last Blumhouse film I'm ever going to see. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know it was. I don't even think I knew it was Blumhouse. I'm pretty sure that I did not understand the Blumhouse connection when I saw it. But yeah, I'm done. Blumhouse, and just the agenda, this craziness, this insanity. I'm just done even flirting with it, playing games, giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm done. There's no more benefits of the doubt. Of course, you turned a quirky, lurky, durky, worky film like The Invisible Man into the abusive husband's. He's not even an invisible man. He's got an invisible suit on. The abusive husband's girlfriend. That's what the title should be. It's not The Invisible Man. He's not an invisible man. He's an abusive husband with an invisible suit. Now you could say, well, that's just they just switchy it uppy. Okay, but really? I'm done. I'm done with your politics. Even 1% of your politics, I'm done. Okay? I'm done having girls fight guys on an equal level in the movies. I'm done. And I guess it's sort of good that he's a little bit Mediterranean looking, Jewish, Egyptian, quite a bit in his, otherwise you could have gotten a knockoff with the race thing. Oh, of course he's a white guy. Well, and most people are going to look at him as just a white guy. But yeah, I don't have any time or hope for this at all. This stuff. You're going to have to leave 100% of your communism. I can't even tolerate a little bit of it. As soon as you go woke, I'm out. 1% woke. And I'm done. 1%. The other 99% could be a masterpiece, but I'm done. I'm not supporting any of that anything. And by the way, that 1% wokeness has always been there. It's been there way back in the beginning, right? Of film. But it was okay because it was just a small amount. But now it's fucking every movie person, every TV person, everything has just gone completely insane. And that's the purpose of this, right? Is to destroy everything and rebuild it in the commie image. And they're just using... When in Cambodia, when they were kill. It was just all day killing people. And I'm not joking. Shut up and go learn it yourself. If you don't understand what the killing fields were like in Cambodia, I believe in the 80s, 70s or 80s, not that long ago, 50 years ago, 40, 50 years ago. If you don't understand, that was just, they were killing anybody that stood out. And they just had to pull reasons out of their assholes. Because they killed so many people. They killed all the rich people, all the smart people, all the tall people, all the people with glasses, all the rich people. And rich meant they had 2 goats instead of 1. They just had to invent it. Well, I saw 3 books in their little hut. So let's kill him. Just kill. And it was all on the worship. So they're just making shit up just to kill somebody. It's just like the cancellations of Twitter. They're just making shit up. They just want somebody to sacrifice. They just want to sacrifice on the altar of communism. It's the same thing. We've done this before. You will not help me out with politics in any way, shape, or form. You cannot do it. I am right 100% of the time. I might misspeak now and again a little bit, because I am human, but I am correct when it comes time to politics. Period. And the absolute commie takeover of all media has gone insane. The best thing that has happened is that Hollywood has been shut down. But the problem is everyone in Hollywood has too much money. Hollywood is the top of the cream of the croppy, toppy, tippy of movie, music, and television. Okay, top. So obviously the top has too much money. Joe Schmo making a movie in his backyard, that's not Hollywood. Joe Schmo in his backyard is Z-lister. Hollywood is the A-listers, and they all have too much money. They don't care if Hollywood shuts down. It's not going to hurt them any. Their bank accounts are already... Now, it's possible that they could, 10 houses and all sorts of expenses, and they could have strapped themselves... You'd be shocked at how rich people can get themselves into debt. No matter how much money, here's the saying for you, no matter how much money you make, you can always spend more than you make. But the way Trump is just handing out money to everybody, and I'm sure a lot of it is going to the buddy in Hollywood, I don't think that they're going to hurt financially from any of this. Because Hollywood is the propaganda arm of... now, I'm a bit of an asshole when it comes time to older. I can get into the classic, old, classic. Because the propaganda wasn't so strong, or if it was there, it's kind of minor, it just comes and goes. But am I still supporting an industry? See, this is where I'm a bit of an asshole. Maybe even talking about classic films, classic oldie, stuffy. Maybe I am being an asshole. I haven't quite worked that out in my head yet. I could be a complete and utter, total, terrible jerk. Okay? But so I could be just a jerk. But what can I say? Actually, I wonder if I could do that. Okay, new article. I'm not going to name them. 'Cause it's just a live show, right? Where is my It's crazy that we're never going to see we're probably never going to see a black bad guy in a movie ever again. Weird, eh? Because they're all going to have to be painted as perfect little angels to appease the woke crowd. Where am I? Go here. Wait, I can't. Oh, share. Give myself a thumbs up. Hmm. Okay. Wait. Two upvotes? Wonder why I have two. I don't know. Somebody else gave me an upvote? Okay, so yeah, I guess we're on the website now. Yeah, I can do that ahead of time. Or at least shortly after the stream starts. Okay. So, again, I believe Lee Winnell is very talented in how he does his stuff, but it's kind of like, it reminds me so much of that short film Cargo. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's a short film, and then it was turned into a feature film. Okay? The short film is fucking beautiful. Brings tears to your eyes. It's a zombie thingy thing, but it's really more of a drama. So Cargo was beautiful. Brings tears to your eyes. And then what did they do for the feature film? They turned it into a white man bad. fucking propaganda. It's like, wow. It's just like there's no end to this, is there? There's no end. And it's just over and over. Repeat, rinse and repeat, 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 repeat. And then all of these defenders, right, will just like, oh, come on, Gary. And people like Gary. You conservatives are just so sensitive. What don't you like strong women? Or you're such a bigot? You know, come on. White people do bad things, you know. Why can't we portray it in movies? And, you know, sometimes men do abuse their wives. And sometimes, you know, guys do like to chop off their pee-pees and call themselves Michelle. And whatever, right? Even just a little while ago. A little while ago with the, Halloween remake. In the beginning of the Halloween zombie film, he's probably going to chop off his dick and call himself Michelle. I hate you. You know? That's Michael Myers, right? So, like, would that even be able to go in a movie today? It's just in a couple of years. I don't know. And see, the woke crowd, and this, it doesn't make any sense. Just like the killing fields, after they think that they killed they sacrificed the actual Nazis, you know, with the Richard Spencers and the Daily Stormers and the different thingy things like that, right? But then they just keep going down the list. They just keep trying to find more and more and more to sacrifice. And then somebody you pissed off, you know, a year ago or 10 years ago, cancels you. We got people even canceling themselves. I just have no time. You know, Jenna Marbles, a famous, original. I don't know what OG stands for. I've always wanted to know. OG. Original. OG. Original. Yeah. OG. Original gangster. Yeah, and because she was politically incorrect. And you know, even the woke chick, right? Super woke chick, Superwoman or Lily Singh or whatever? How long is it going to be before they call her a self-hating Indian? It's because she was born and raised she was in Canada for too long. She's now become racist against Indians, even though she is Indian, you know, by blood. How long before stuff like that? I mean, when you understand what was happening in the killing fields in Cambodia, they killed between 25% and 40% of the entire population were executed on the altar of communism. They were trying to, they were kissing the ring of communism. They were trying to make Mao Zedong, China's Mao Zedong, happy. They were kissing the ring. And there's people alive today in Cambodia that were killy kill kill. They were just slicing. They were too poor. It was all knives and machetes. Yeah, just slicing throats. Killy kill kill. And like I said, after they killed, you know, a certain number of them, you know, the obvious, then they just started to have to make shit up. Well, that person has really nice nails. That must mean that they have too much money, kill them. That person still has, you know, 3 teeth left in their face, in their mouth. So that must mean that they've been, you know, they're privileged, so kill them. You know, just making shit up. And, you know, like on Twitch, that tranny deer person, how long before it goes, well, you're white, so you still have to go. We need to cancel you too. After they go down the list, how long of it, you know, before it's like, no, you make too much money, you're white, you gotta go. But I'm one of you guys. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When you have a quota of sacrifices, communism, and kills, when you have a quota, you have to meet the quota. And trust me, and they were given quotas. And somebody's going to go out there and have no problem. You know, like this digital lynching, this canceling, this trying to ruin people's lives for wrong thing, that's just the beginning. It's actually going to be bullets to the head and knives to the throat. Now, are these SJWs going to be able to step up their game and actually, well, in the Antifa area zones that have been happening in America, they've been stepping up. They've been stepping up. That the one kill looked like an execution. Guy came in and was shoot, and then he got shot, and then, you know, he got shot by the Chaz police, which are nobodies. And the Chaz police went over, oh, you're still alive, and boom, shot him again to kill him, finish him off. So you talk about, so they're talking about, they're doing all this over police brutality. Look at the brutality that they're going to bring to the world. You're still alive, boom. That's what it's looky like. An actual execution. Now, you could say whatever you want, but I mean, I've never seen anything like that. A cop coming up to somebody who was shot and you know, all the way down, in all the ways down, just come up and finish him off and execute him. I've seen some shit in my day. I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen terrible stuff. But, I mean, I've also seen a lot of great stuff. It's a mixed bag. You know, once you put a gun in somebody's hand and you say, okay, this is your job, is to protect and provide, and go into the worst places of all of the worst, worst, W-O-R-S-T, worst of everything. Sometimes bad stuff is going to happen. You know? Whatever. I have a lot of respect for those guys, for anybody who would want to do that job. But these commies that are coming in, my lord. And you know, it's shocking that we're even letting it happen. But here we are, letting it happen. Canada is just kind of pretending to be woke. Like, they go down that road, but it's like when Justin Trudeau came out to take a knee for Black Lives Matter, which is a communist organization, period, end of story. But, and by the way, it's the organizers that called it. They call themselves communists, okay? So shut up. The organizers, the people at the toppy people at BLM, the people, the T-H-E, capital T, capital H, capital E, the people at BLM are communists. They say it with their own faces. I've got a I got the video on my website. Check it out. So, I don't know what you're talking about, you know? So like I said, I'm done. I don't know if you're done. Are you done? Because it certainly seems to me like the commies ain't going to be slowing down. And I guess the anti-commies need to step up their game. And by the way, I do think that most Republicans are also communists themselves. Okay? There's no help from your political right wing. They're there, they're patsies, they're there to lose. They're just placeholders. Your conservative is a loser, idiot, do nothing, nothing burger. That's who your conservative Republican is. A nothing loser, nothing person. A zero, a zilcher. I just sit around and, well, it's okay when we do it. Now, the conservative on the street, the conservative people, those are the good guys. There's 4 groups, okay? Democrat politicians, Democrat people, both rotten to the core. There's a slim chance that maybe the people are kind of nice, sometimes, but generally no. Because even if you're doing evil, even if you don't know that you're doing evil, you're still doing it. So that means you could be an empty-headed retard, and you're doing the bidding of communists. That still makes you a bad person. And especially if you're older, you have an obligation to learn, to open up your brain and put information. And if you don't have that ability, and you're still voting and you're doing the Democrat thing, then you need to, you're evil. You're just a bad person. You don't get to play the stupid card with me. You're evil. You needed to open up your brain and get information in there a long time ago. And you have chosen not to do it, so you're voting pro-evil. But on the Republican side, so the left is evil all the way, politicians and people, and the right, the politicians are evil. There's no good politician. Okay? So on the right, the politicians are evil, the people are good, generally speaking. So there's only one, if you got those 4 corners of the politics, the only good people in all of the everything, in the whole thingy thing, are the conservative people, the conservative individuals. They are good, hardworking, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, do it yourself, just salt of the earth. They're the ones keeping everything running. They're the ones going to work every day and making kids and having happy marriages, or trying to. They're the ones doing good stuff. So yeah, I don't see, this. It just hurt my feelings when this film, and that was quite a rant. When this film decided to go from a quirky, lurky, dirky, worky, kind of interesting story about a man developing an invisibility potion, and oopsie doopsie, it worked, and oopsie doopsie double, it is also going to make him evil and crazy and evil. It's going to turn him insane. This potion, it's supposed to be about a mad scientist. It's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing, kind of. But what does an evil person do when they're invisible, or somebody going insane, invisible. And so, and unfortunately, all of the lefty people out there that talk, that use their faces, I don't know if you've gotten it yet. I don't know if you've gotten the memo that communism is coming your way. And I promise you, you don't want it. But you still advocate it. Little bits here, little bits there. You just go, well, it's just a girl that beat up a man in the movie. Yeah, that's part of this communist shit. This equality bullshit, this woke bullshit. There is a 0% chance, and I said 0. Listen to me carefully, I said 0. There's a 0% chance that a random woman is gonna beat up a random man. The only way she wins is if she wins the lottery. So this random woman happens to be a power lifter and he happens to be in a wheelchair with no arms. You know, something like that. So she wins the lottery, or she cheats. So in other words, it's supposed to be a hand-to-hand, physical combat fight to the death, and she pulls out a gun and shoots him. So she cheats. Or he lets her win. Chivalry. It still exists, even though the communists want to turn that off as well. But, just look at the survival thingy things in the Titanic. The movie portrayed it accurately. Women and children first. A couple of men easeled the way onto the boats. But basically speaking, the men stayed back to die, just like Jack did in the movie Titanic. And if you look at the survival, blah, 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 in the real Titanic, the men stayed back to die and put the women and children on the boats. But a higher percentage of women survived than children. So the women were so selfish that they were kicking the children out of the way in order to get on the boats. That's a thingy thing, eh? Women were actually pushing the children aside to get on the boats. Not too much. The numbers are pretty close. It wasn't too bad. But I wonder how many of those. I think they weren't counted. I haven't looked at the numbers in a while. But a large percentage, and when you break it up and you looky at all the, it's telling. Basically speaking, the men put the women and the children on the boats and stayed back to die. So that's chivalry. That is women and children first, and yet women still are just endless bitching and moaning, complaining and moaning at the feminism. Oh my God, just shut up. Shut up! So, and here's more, just women bitching, whining, moaning, complaining. Oh, I have an abusive husband. He's like satanically abusive too, and it's all stupid. Now you can say, well, Nightmare on Elm Street is stupid too, somebody who can kill you in their dreams, and it wasn't even really, was it a dream, was it not a dream, and like really killing somebody in their dreams, like that's a stupid premise. Okay, but it was kind of randomly stupid. It wasn't leftist stupid. I know. It's kind of like these two things, The Invisible Man and a story about an abusive husband, were just mashed together. It's just kind of like Black Christmas, right? I want to tell a story about abusive men, how bad men are. But let's call it Black Christmas. Let's just ram the Black Christmas thing into it. That's what this feels like to me. Again, Lee Winnell is talented, but I gotta call out, I don't care, Lee. I don't care. If you are going to create, if you're going to do this, go down this road, you might, I have to go down this road or else they'll cancel me. well, then you're part of the problem. If you don't have the balls enough to fucking stand up and be a man, then I don't care. If you don't care, why should I care? So yeah, I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know what to say. Other than I need to trim a couple of nails here. I normally don't trim nails. They get too long and then I end up biting them off. My fingernails, obviously. Toenails, you gotta cut. My mouth doesn't reach down there anymore. I've never done that. I think I tried. I heard, talkie about that as a kid. People biting their toenails. So I tried it once, and I could do it, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Tried it once. Bit off one toenail, and I was like, no. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not doing it. So, again, with this, I don't care. Here's the thing. If there's even a microscopic amount of woke in the thing, you gotta trash the whole fucking thing. It cannot be supported. Cannot be supported. And you see what happens when you get a bunch of retarded, empty-headed children filled with this dumb, woke bullshit. Fucking closing down highways, burning cities to the ground, looting targets, all of the rest of it. And Hollywood is not going to back down. It's tripling down. Is this it? Is this it? Is this the end? Is this the end of freedom? And you got a bunch of college kids cheering it on? Because they're empty-headed, retarded, loser idiots? And they don't have a fucking clue about anything? It doesn't matter if the guy with the gun is a complete empty-headed idiot. He's still got the gun, and if he pulls the trigger, then you're dead. It doesn't matter if they're fucking dumb. So I got a 0% tolerance for woke. And like I said, transforming this film from a kooky looky dooky wookie thingy thing. Watch the original if you want. It's all over the place. The Invisible Man. Watch the original. I wonder if it's on Tubi. 2017. Really? Another fucking Invisible Man? Really? There's this many of them? Oh, the 1959. Is that the original? There you go. Invisible Woman. There's so many of these fucking movies. Jesus Christ. The Invisible Man. There it is. It looks like it's there. So watch it. It's free. Tubi is free. There's no excuses to not have Tubi. By the way, tonight we are watching a double feature of. I'm not going to be showing the videos. You're going to have to play it yourself. But we're just going to talk. So we're having a watch party for The Invisible Man. Or, sorry, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm gonna do it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm gonna do it. No, I guess. Title: Horror Movie Fanatics. How about? Can I change the title? I guess I can't. We'll leave it for now. I'm going to change it afterwards. I'm going to... or maybe not. So anyway, the idea right now is we're going to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and a double feature. The Hills Have Eyes tonight. Okay? So let's see if he brings out... He won't talk about the woke because he thinks he's woke. He you know... He's a titty hound. You know, like a 13-year-old. I like it, by the way. I like the titty hound, 13-year-old. She has nice boobs. And then giggle, hee. I like that. I like it all. I like it from him and his buddy on this YouTube channel. That's not woke, but whatever. Maybe he's woke in every other area or whatever. I don't really... They talk about themselves as woke, but they don't present themselves as woke. So maybe they just don't really know what woke means or something. I don't know. I don't know and I don't care. I like them and they don't talk about politics. Generally. But let's see what he says here.
Jackson Cohen, Harriet Dyer, and Aldous Hodge, based on the familiar story of the Invisible Man from H.G. Wells. In this rendition, we have Cecilia, whose abusive ex Adrian fakes his own death and uses a suit that he developed to make him appear invisible so he can stalk and terrorize his ex-girlfriend. When the police refuse to believe her story, she decides to take matters into her own hands and fight back. Before we get into this, I do want to give a shout out to the Morphew, a longtime supporter of the channel who recommended this over on Patreon. It's kind of weird doing solo reviews, but I had requested specifically if we can keep things, you know, a little bit more recent. And so he recommended this one, and that's great. I had already seen it, but it was nice revisiting again, confirming what I already thought. One of the coolest aspects of an Invisible Man movie, of course I'm a fan of Hollow Man from back in the day. It's really cool to see
Hollow Man was okay. I saw it at the theater, and it was just okay. I was kind of disappointed.
how they can use new technology like CG that we have today to make this Invisible Man feel like he's actually part of the environment. And it was extremely well done and almost flawless, to be honest, because it's used in so many different environments and it always looks really cool. One of the standouts is when there's rain. Cecilia is in a parking lot and she's running for her life. She knows that he's after her, and you as the audience member are just waiting for like the rain to bend or just kind of hit this person that is a physical being. And so when the rain starts dripping on him or his suit kind of flickers and flashes because it's malfunctioning, it just looks so clean. Not to mention there's a really cool action sequence that involves Elizabeth Moss being thrown over a table, and I watched the behind the scenes of this and it's just so cool the way that it was done, and it's just perfect. I don't know, there's nothing that I can complain about with the suit or how the Invisible Man came off, because I thought it was great. And even just like the way the technology is kind of explained, where it's just like a bunch of cameras, it's kind of like a honeycomb shape all over the place. It just seems like it's something that could potentially work. Above that, we have great performances from the entire cast, but most specifically, obviously, is Elizabeth Moss, who absolutely crushes it. Because a lot of this movie revolves around her not 100% knowing if she's being paranoid or she's actually being stalked by Adrian, because it does seem a little bit far-fetched, of course, but seeing her have this like internal emotional struggle of constantly like in fear, looking around, I think it's just really well done. Her performance was believable, emotional, and you actually feel for her because you as an audience are trying to figure out, is this even real? And if it is, how are you possibly going to explain this to somebody that's going to take you serious? Because I know if I were to go to like a cop or something right now, they'd be like, you're on drugs, see you later. So I can't imagine being in that position, and that's what makes you emotionally invested in the story. On the flip side, our antagonist is fantastic as well, because he feels like a real monster. He's controlling, he's manipulative, and his character really fits into societal issues that we have when it comes to abusers that we're talking about today, where it's not always physical, but it's the mental game. Abusers keeping you trapped, feeling like you can't get out of something, and he did an excellent job just being this disgusting scumbag.
And if
Again, no mention another men, you know, like didn't they just do Black Christmas? When are we going to get to see bitchy, disgusting women again? Women that are turning their, you know, children against their ex-husbands and trying to destroy their ex-husbands and just are just there for the money and all of this kind of shit. No, not woke enough for you. Can only go one way. I guess they got Ma, right? Ma was a woman scorned, but let's be honest, that was about race. That was about a black woman who was wronged by a white man who decides to take it out on a bunch of white people, white kids. I didn't see that one either. When I saw the fact that as soon as I saw it in the trailer, that the Ma character, whatever her name is, the big fat black woman, she's a good actress, actually. Painted that one black boy's face white. I was like, oh, this is all seemed to be okay. Something bad happened, but now it seems to be back again. Okay. Whatever. But anyway. Yeah, I can't stop talking about politics when I see a Blumhouse movie. When I see anything, especially recent Hollywood. And it's going to be a weird thing. Because all of the things that, you know, like, I don't know at what point are somebody going to say, well, he's a quarter Egyptian and a quarter Jewish, so that makes this movie racist. Portraying a quarter Jew, a quarter, I guess, Muslim, Egyptian, whatever. I guess it's a little bit mixed. Anyway. Guy as an evil abuser of women. How long is it before they come after this film and say, no, that's not woke enough? I mean, there's no end. There is no end. They just deal with the, I guess, bigger and more sort of random things than the facey faces, but then they have to start to dig through the weeds and dig through the basement for stuff to cancel. I mean, anything could be considered not woke enough. Just like in the killing fields of Cambodia, anything could be considered, you know, kill-worthy. It's just like once you've run out of good reasons to kill things, then you have to invent reasons.
if he didn't like what he assumed I was thinking, he would...
He'd what? He would hit you?
Amongst other things.
Then why, like, you're a 35-year-old kind of 5 out of 10. Why are you there? Why did you decide to, lower your meltdown on a dick of an evil man? That's something that, the original, listen to me when I say this word, original feminist, abusive, okay. The chicky chick poo that opened up the very first woman's shelter in the UK has been cancelled. She was cancelled a long time ago. Because she had the nerve to say that most of these women that are in abusive relationships with men are just as asshole-ish as the men are. She likes to beat on him just as much as he likes to beat on her. She said that with her own face, that these women are equal partners in this abusive bullshit. And by the way, I never saw my dad hit my mother, but I did see the other. She was just playing around, but she'd smack him, knowing that, it wasn't a big deal. My mom punched me in the head. She broke her hand doing it. Yeah, women are a heck of a lot, and the numbers bear it out too. The most amount of domestic violence is lesbian on lesbian. In the middle, it's straight couples, and then at the bottom, it's gay males. So it seems as though the more women you have in your relationship, the more abusive it becomes. But of course, that doesn't fit the woke feminist narrative, so it's always got to be switched around. See, once upon a time, they could do thingy things in the correct way. Like, remember Fatal Attraction? Psychotic women? When was the last time you saw a woman that was a bad guy? Well, I guess you had Thor, that one Thor movie or whatever. Helena or something. But I mean a real one. And what I say to all of these women, I almost don't have sympathy for them. Like, if you're in an abusive relationship, like this actress is 35 years old, what is she fucking doing? Having a boyfriend? Or, I don't know, are they married? Where's the kids? Why was she so stupid to get into the... They like to thinky think. They like to pretend that, oh, I got into the relationship and then he changed. No, he didn't. He was like that before. You just didn't care. Or you liked it because he was the bad boy. Or you liked it because he was defending you, like you thought he would be a good defender of you. That's why women line up at prisons to date the guys getting out. Is because they like that. Their vaginas get all moist thinking about, the big, strong, tough guy that's going to defend her. And to be honest with you, there's reasons for that. It's a legitimate, proper thinky think. But I mean, it's just like kind of men want to have sex all over the place and with anything and everything. Men have to put that in check. Well, women have to put I love the bad boys in check. Not marry them. Not get into relationships. Not leave their husbands for them. And then when the world falls apart because they married a bad boy, are you supposed to feel sorry for Chicky Poo? What, he just started swinging? Right? Why were you sucking the dick? And don't give me this shit about you being the non-violent victim in all this. It's just more of the same shit, right? Just more communist, more leftist, communist propaganda bullshit. I'm a poor victim. And she's talking to a black cop who's obviously a good guy. Because gone are the days where black guys are going to be the bad guys in film. That's never going to happen again. For God's sakes, they're canceling everything with police in it. So, yeah, I have no time. It's just more of the same bullshit. Oh, I'm just such a victim of men. I'm just such an innocent victim of men. Really? Really? Okay. Again. More of this. Remember when the girls were screaming rape on college campuses? Oh my God! 1 in 1 women are going to be raped on college campuses. 1 out of every 1 women are going to be raped. There's a rapist hiding underneath every single rock. And that is all bullshit. It's the same thing as here. It's just more bullshit, propaganda, dumbassery. And like I said, where's if Chicky Poos talk about they're stunning and brave, why don't you be stunning and brave enough to pick a good guy instead of one that wants to fucking punch your fucking face in every night? I'm such a victim. I'm such a look at how old and ugly she is too. She should know better. It's one thing being like 16 years old and liking the bad boy 20-year-old, right? Because your hormones don't know what the fuck, whether they're coming or going, and especially if you got like no parentage, no parents around to fucking guide you. You're like, oh yeah, I'll date the drug dealer. But I mean, she's what, in her 30s, mid-30s? How old is she? How old is she? Born in 82, so 18, 38 years old today. So I'll give her a 36 or a 37 when the movie was shot. You're in your mid-30s, mid-late 30s. Why are you still hanging out with an asshole? It's like, where's your agency? They keep telling us that women are going to make these great decision makers and could be able to run businesses and run countries and all of this other kind of stuff, but they can't pick a man that doesn't punch them in the face. It's the same thing with black folks. Oh, I'm just a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. Well, where's your own personal agency in the situation? No, let's not talk about any of that. Let's just talk about me being a victim. Okay.
Like kind of mentioned with the CG, the production value of this whole movie is just phenomenal, and the camera work is masterclass.
Lee Manel can fucking, like, I believe all these people could possibly do good things, and some of them kind of are. But the story parts of it are what the problem is. They're politics, basically. Their politics, their personal philosophies, their politics, their own personal politics is getting in the way. It's stopping them from genius. And even if there was a right-winger in Hollywood, would he even be able to get a right-winger thing done? It's just kind of like Joe Schmo, Joe Nobody, who's at the whatever company, and he's surrounded by fucking leftists. So he just goes along to get along. He's just, I'm just trying to make a living and go home and whatever. In a way, I kind of don't blame them, but I'm still gonna call it out. You gotta stand up for what's right. And as cities are burning to the ground more and more often, I can imagine what's gonna happen when Trump wins. My God, can you imagine what that's gonna be like, folks?
I know that's high praise, but the way that the camera moves around from scene to scene, it makes the audience tense because like the camera is almost like, is it just the camera Or are we actually seeing out of the eyes of the Invisible Man himself? They use the camera in a very voyeuristic way, where there's lots of long shots, or the frame is partially concealed, like the camera is hiding in plain sight, like ready to kind of move towards Cecilia at any moment. And in that way, you start to relate to Cecilia a little bit more and more. Like I said, you're invested in her, and the camera work really helps you feel on edge. And even just watching it, if you're not even in that mind state, you could just be looking from one corner to the next, and you're like, maybe you're looking around for where the Invisible Man could be, or did I just see something move over here? Like, what's gonna happen next? So I truly believe like this is some of the best cinematography I've seen in a very, very long time. It's tricky to come up with dislikes for this movie because I genuinely really loved it. It's one of the best movies I've seen all year. But
So again, woke guy is not going to bring up the woke parts. Because just everybody, most of your YouTubers, not me, well, I guess I'm going to be doing it soon, but most are just far left, wannabe Hollywood people. They're all the same. I don't know what it is that it's either leftists are drawn to this form of this type of work or whatever. But anyway, they're all Hollywood failures. The reason why they have a YouTube channel is because Hollywood rejected them. So they're Hollywood, I call them Hollywood's, most are just Hollywood Z-listers. There are some fans that are just simply fans and they don't want to make movies and so on. But most of the big ones, they're all just Hollywood flunkouts. Hollywood didn't want them. You know, they went to film school and they couldn't get a movie thingy thing, whatever thingy thing that they were thingy-thinging. They couldn't, so they started a YouTube channel. Or there was a company doing a YouTube channel and they just went to work for them. Like a Screen Junkies or something along these lines. Collider. But they're just Hollywood Z-listers. That's what I call them. Most of these people on YouTube talking about film. So, and again, I don't know if Hollywood attracts leftists or it makes them. But whatever it is, it's all, you know. And there is some, like, what's her face? The Grace from Will and Grace. She actually came out and said, get out on Twitter. She said with her face on Twitter, she said, make a list of everybody that went to the Trump fundraiser in LA or whatever, and then blacklist all of them. That's what she said on Twitter. That's Grace from Will and Grace. The Jew. Female. Rich, super mega privileged Hollywood elite. You know, in the gay show. That's what she has to say on Twitter. So that's outie, open, outie, and open and out. Imagine what she's thinking on the inside. She's the probably was the world around her said, hey, that's supposed to be your inner voice. We're not supposed to say things like that out loud. Yes, we boycott and we blacklist, and if anybody shows any right-wingness to them in any way, then but we don't say it out loud because that's illegal and it's kind of wrong to do. We keep that in our inner voice inner. That was supposed to be an inner thing to say, not an outer thing to say. Well, so like I said, I know. See, the good thing is he doesn't explicitly talk about politics on this channel, so I can take him. I can take them. They will kind of bring up, but a microscopic amount of their left retardation. But
If I were to nitpick, perhaps it would be some of the side characters that didn't really maybe react the way that you would think that they would react given the situation, especially considering how convincing Elizabeth Moss is. I also think that the ending, I know a lot of people loved it, I think that it was maybe a bit overhyped because I found that it was fairly predictable. You can kind of guess where that's going almost halfway through the movie, so you're just kind of like going through some of the steps. But even with that said, I still really enjoyed the ending, even though I knew it was coming. This movie was far better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't see any reviews or anything like that prior to watching it. This was one of those expensive rentals that went straight to VOD during the quarantine, so I rented this and The Hunt at the same time. And it was a nice refreshing break to see a new movie in this weird time that was actually really quality. The cinematography was fantastic. The production value in general was top notch. I really loved the pacing, even though it is a little bit on the longer side, because you can really relate to Cecilia as a character. And
No, you can't, because as soon as you have the correct information in your brain about this is just, you know, girl being abused, leftist propaganda, then it makes the whole film moot. It's just like The Last of Us. When you understand it's just a drama, a soap opera with alphabet people set in a mushroom zombie apocalypse, then you go, yeah, no thanks. The whole overarching, all of the everything. This is when your politics have infected everything and it has ruined everything. And by the way, The Last of Us. How long is it going to be before, you know, Abby smash, I don't know, Ellie's girlfriend, right? And go, she beat up a Jew. That's racist. Or something, you know? Like I said, it's only a matter of time before they come for everyone. Now, it's like I said, it's unfortunate that these Hollywood commies are getting paid off by Trump. Trump's just doling out the money to everybody, and I'm sure that the Hollywood thingy things are getting a ton of it. To keep going through this time. But at the end of the communism, once the communism comes, being in Hollywood is hell on earth. It's just propaganda. Just try to go talk to a Chinese filmmaker. It's like goes through censor after 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 censor. I don't even know how anything gets created, to be honest with you. Because every T needs to be crossed and every I needs to be dotted in the communist thingy thing. Maybe that's what they're, you know, maybe that's what they want, zero creativity, and it's just like literal propaganda, communist propaganda. But it's going to be interesting, right? Because the commie propaganda today, with the trannies and the blacks and the blah, 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 the poor woe is women and all that shit, right? That is not real communism. That's just to destroy the civilization. The real communism is class, right? And control. It's just the government controls everything. Every T and every I, the government crosses and dots. Every single one. Throughout all of the everything. They control everything. So that's actual communism. So there's going to be a pre-communist Hollywood and a post, because first of all, there is no money, right, for all of these movie thingy things. There's some, a little bit, but it's not much, because there is no money. And is a thingy thing like China going to backtrack on their opening up and doing capitalism? Are they going to retract? Are they going to go back into their strictly communism? I don't know. But I'm telling you, creating anything, you say one word out of line, you think that people are getting canceled fast today, even in Hollywood? Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Sins like any of the current, the biggie baddie stuff, those sins will be execute worthy, not cancellation. You'll be canceled out of life.
And you're emotionally invested, you're willing to hang in there, and you're excited about every single action that's made. And because there's variance in the type of tension that's built up from scene to scene.
See, this is why I'm saying I think that Hollywood is made Hollywood stuff today, now. It's made by leftists for leftists. Because once you realize that this is just like feminism propaganda, man bad, women victim, feminist propaganda, you can't like the film. And then you realize that they bastardized, or they just used a really interesting kind of unique, non-communist concept of the Invisible Man. Even though the man is bad there, but he was turned bad by the chemicals that he drank that made him invisible. Some of the best camera work of all time in that film, by the way. How they made him invisible back in those days. Now, that's a documentary. If you want to see filmmaking, that's the one that you need to see. Not just, well, tell a bunch of computer kids that do the graphics to do the things. Make this happen, make that happen. Okay. Because that's the problem with computer effects, right? They can do anything. And I guess if you believe that they're real, then they can be kind of cool. But at the end of all of the everything, you just go, well, it's just some guy at some zitty-faced kid fucking working the computer. Which is fine, and they're doing a good job. But there's something... See, part of the magic of a movie was the magic part. What is magic? Okay? What is magic? It's a trick. That's all. They're making you think that you saw this, and then tricky tricks. All tricky trick. Okay? Just think magic. A magic trick. And that's what movies used to be. It's like, wow, how did they do that thingy thing on the TV or on the movie? How did that happen? Because there was no computers. It had to actually be in front of the screen, but how did they make you think that this thingy thing happened? Just as simple, like a book floating. Or like like even in the Munsters. That TV show, The Munsters. The Invisible Man in that television show would be reading a book and flipping pages. So it's just floating book. You go, was there a string? How did they flip the pages? How the magic-y trick. But now it's just, well, we'll just send it off to the zit-face kids to fucking, for them to do the do. So it's just, the filmmakers themselves are just, and then you add in the communist kind of bullshit. It's kind of like when your kid brings you a really super mega shitty breakfast in bed because it's your birthday. It's shitty, but you love it because of the effort that went into making it. Like practical effects or whatever. The movie people that are profiting off the movie actually had to put in a lot of work, and they had to be really creative, and they had to do. But with the stories being crap and full of agenda, and then them sending off to basically make the movie in fucking zit-faced kidland, I don't know. The magic, that's not magical. It's the difference between your kid bringing you a really shitty breakfast and you paying a home service to deliver a breakfast to your home and eating it. Maybe not in bed, but right. And it's a mediocre breakfast. It's fine. But one is super special because of the TLC and the love and the energy. It's just like mommy serving you fish sticks and French fries versus a homemade, big, loving meal. You can taste the love that went into the hard work and the energy and the work and the work and the energy and the love and the work and the energy and love. And that used to be filmmaking, and it's not anymore. Like I said, they just film some shit in front of a green screen and then send it off to the Zitface army to make the movie. And I don't mean to, I'm trying to make a point. I'm not trying to demean the Zitface army. I'm trying to get a point across. Relax. You guys are actually doing a great job. A fantastic job. And it's just, I just wish that the people, you know, your bosses, it's just like The Last of Us Part 2. Technically, it's a brilliant thing. It's too bad about the fucking story and the, you know, all of that game-making genius was wasted on such a terrible fucking alphabet soup fucking love story, revenge story, drama, soap opera. And you got to start pointing this out. Or it's either that or, you know, like I said, I haven't seen this film. I have no intention to, but Hollywood has just gone so far off the deep end that it's just not even possible anymore. It's not possible to like it in any way, shape, or form. It's just gone. It's fallen off the cliff. And the only way to like it is to be a leftist. And even sometimes then, the leftists are getting pissed off because there's too much, like a Black Christmas, there's too much going on in it. Too much leftism in their leftist movies. We're okay with half of the movie being leftist propaganda, but, you know, not all of the movie.
There's some action. I truly believe this is one of the best films of 2020. So I'm going to give this 4.5 condensation handprints out of 5. As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Bloodbath and beyond.
To go down that road, to think that of this film, is to, you know, it's sad. So remember, we're going to be watching, I think anyway, the plan is to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes tonight. Yeah, we're streaming all day today. See, Hollywood used to understand that they had to kind of sneaky put in propaganda. And for a lot of the people, me included, it would just go over our heads because it was so sneaky. But not anymore. Now the leftists be good to women, be good to blacks, be good to gays. That sort of mentality, that's over. Now it's we're using black women and gays to stir up anger and resentment and hatred and anger and ugly and evil. So it's not enough that we're just putting a black lesbian in the movie. She has to degrade everything around her. She has to humiliate and degrade and dominate and shame everything around her. I don't care. Want to watch the Alien series? Movie reviews from James Rolfe.
It's Cinemassacre's Monster Madness.
This week we'll be talking about the Alien franchise.
By the way, it's not just me. James Rolfe, you can see his disappointed every time he came out of the new movie, came out of the movie, and it was just like various levels of disappointment and kind of anger and frustration and kind of zero-ness. You know, Star Wars and Terminator and Godzilla and this and all of the things that I like, you know, I think he's right-wing too, but he would never say it. He doesn't want to get canceled. Isn't that weird? But I think we need to start. We need to start saying "fuck you" to the mob. Stop kissing the feet of the mob. Just that's all we got to do is say "fuck you." I'm going to say what I want to say. But anyway. You can tell James Rolfe was getting more and more and more and more disappointed every time leaving the theater. Solo, The Last Jedi, this and that and that and this. And then he got to the point where not long ago he said, "You know something, I'm done reviewing movies, like current modern day movies, because I've fallen out of love with them." And it's not just that they're agenda-filled leftist commie propaganda. It's also that they're bad. Like I was talking about with the recent Invisible Man. I think it could have been a good movie if the, you know, whatever-ish. If you could get over the stupidness of the story and the propaganda of the story itself, it was still a well-done film, I think. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. He's disillusioned just like I am, and like everybody is. We're all being disillusioned. It's just what's happening.
Franchise. When I say Alien, you know exactly what I mean, and that's the power of this film. It takes a title that's as generic as Alien and makes it into a household name. We'll start with the first Alien film, directed by Ridley Scott. Much like Halloween, Alien is a slasher film about a killer with a body count. The only difference is that the killer is an extraterrestrial life form, and the setting is in outer space, where, as the tagline says, no one can hear you scream. It's brilliant. It's fucking horrifying, and it still is. I can't think of anything more disturbing than a living creature inside your body ready to burst out. I still think the movie is stronger before the alien starts killing people, because after that, it sort of becomes victim to some of its horror trappings. My point is, I like the first act better for its slow and suspenseful build-up. Interesting to think that I like when nothing is happening better than when stuff is happening. To sum up Alien, it's distinctly a horror film and a science fiction film. It perfectly balances the two, and in both categories reaches its full potential.
It's a masterpiece. An absolute friggin' masterpiece of a film.
It's Cinemassacre's Monster Madness.
Making a sequel to a groundbreaking film is never an easy task, but when director James Cameron was assigned to it, he nailed it. Nailed the shit out of it. Aliens was released in 1986. That's about 7 years after the first one. That was back when they took time to make sequels. Nowadays, by the time a movie gets to the theaters, they're already working on the sequel. Just like the first Alien, it takes a lot of cliches from the 50s and molds them into something that's fresh and new. One thing that's great about this movie is that you don't need to see the first one to know what's going on. It fills you in very quickly, and since it's a little more action-oriented, it seems to attract a wider audience, which helps act as a gateway to introduce more people to the first movie. A lot of people saw the sequel first, including myself. This movie put the Alien franchise into our pop culture. Several movies ripped...
Not me. I saw the number one first. It was the most beautiful television watching experience of my life. I'm not going to go into it right now because I'm eating. Maybe one day I will. Watching Alien, the original Alien, was the most stunningly picture-perfect, beautiful movie watching experience anyone could ever have, period. I think. I'm not going to put money on that part. Certainly, and if I were to explain the movie watching experience of number one to you, which, by the way, it was 78. I was born in 71, so obviously I didn't see it in theaters. I'm pretty sure it was 78. I don't even know when Aliens was. But anyway. Yeah, they took time. It's like they had lots of good people and lots of good ideas. So they just had space between them. Breathing room. But, you know, this Aliens was a masterpiece too. And I like the theatrical cut better than the director's cut. I like the shortened version of Aliens better than the long one.
It off, and it's been parodied in cartoons like Ninja Turtles. It came out during the big video game revolution. This was the Nintendo age when video games were becoming more advanced. Several of them got their inspirations from the Alien films such as Metroid, Xenophobe, and especially the Contra games, which make blatant references to not only the facehuggers and the xenomorphs, but also the space jockey from the first Alien. And is this thing from Metroid also inspired by the space jockey? Aliens is a great sequel, one of the best sequels ever made. It's debatable if it's better than the first or not. They both have their special merits. So, fuck the review, just watch the movie. Alien 3...
Okay. I put Alien over Aliens because I'm more into horror. It's just that simple. But if you were... They're both equal. It's just which genre do you prefer? Do you prefer more action or horror? If you prefer more horror, then you're going to like Alien better than Aliens. I think it's that simple.
3, or Alien to the Third, was an unexpected sequel. How do you top Aliens? The answer? You don't. It seems the number 3 is often an unlucky number with sequels, and this one's no exception. Right from the start, there was a lot of trouble with the project. Many different writers and directors were involved with it. When David Fincher was assigned to the directing task, he had little time to prepare, didn't even have a finished script when they started shooting, and the studio interfered with a lot of his decisions. Lots of film productions are troublesome, but all that matters is what comes up on the screen in the end. And Alien 3, unfortunately, isn't that awesome. When I saw this for the first time when I was about 12 years old, I couldn't...
You know, one thing about making excuses as to why your movie sucked at the end of the everything, they always try to do the blame game when things don't work out. But if it worked out and everybody, oh wow, Alien 3 was a masterpiece, they would be taking all the credit for it, right? This David Fincher nutwad would be taking all the credit for Alien 3 being a masterpiece. There are a couple of retards out there on planet Earth that think that Alien 3 is a masterpiece, just like Alien 1 and 2, but they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. I think it's like in the middle of a road. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a good one either. Like once you have to step away from the genius of 1 and 2. But you can settle into number 3 being okay. Like a 3 out of 5 stars or something. 1 and 2 were both 5 out of 5 stars.
Couldn't even stand to watch it. This movie is so depressing it'll make you want to blow your brains out. After rewatching it, I've tried to appreciate it for its somber tone. It goes without saying we're back to one alien again, which I'm all for if it works. There's no weapons on this planet, so they don't have any resources to fight the alien. It's a good attempt at making it a scary movie again about one monster, but it fails at generating any suspense. Alien 3 is not a terrible movie, it's just okay. I wish I could say it's underrated. Every time I rewatch it, I always hope it'll grow on me and that I'll discover some artistic merit that I overlooked, but every time, I'm always just as disappointed. They should have stopped at number 2. Alien 3 was meant to be the final film of the franchise, but with any movie that doesn't satisfy its fans, give it 5 years and out comes Alien Resurrection, literally trying to resurrect the franchise. With a cliché, shitty title like that, the movie gives you exactly what it advertises. It throws away the serious tone of Alien 3 and goes for simple entertainment, for better or for worse. I saw it in the theater on its opening day. I remember enjoying it, but since then haven't felt any desire to watch it again until I had to do this review. It's that kind of movie. Its purpose is to rack in some cash while entertaining moviegoers for a few weekends, and then it fades from memory. This movie may not be a masterpiece, but it's more entertaining than Alien 3. Alien 3...
It is more entertaining. It's kind of like a dumb comedy. You know, it's dumb fun. It's not a good, you know, like, yeah, it's just, there's nothing wrong with dumb fun. I kind of like it. It is more entertaining. Is it better? I guess because it's more entertaining. But, yeah, it is a step up from 3. Not a big step up, but it is a step up.
3 went for an artistic vision, but failed. Alien Resurrection went for entertaining trash and succeeded. It's the golden turd of the franchise. It doesn't take itself seriously and doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. By the time Alien vs. Predator came out in 2004, it built up so much hype that it couldn't live up to its own epicness. I watched it for the first time recently, so my expectations were very low, and I wasn't as disappointed as everyone else.
I'm with you, James. It was better than people give it credit for. It's not amazing. I think it's the 3rd best in the franchise. It goes 1, 2, and then AVP. And then probably Resurrection, and then 3, and then at the bottom is AVP 2. But yeah, I kind of liked it. I thought it garnered too much hate and overabundant. It's not a great film by any stretch, like I said. You know, but like I said, I would put 1 and then 2 and then AVP and then 4 and then 3 and then AVP 2.
It's not terrible. To me, the perfect adjective is underwhelming. It's not as bad as everyone says. It's just not great. There's nothing specific in this movie that sticks out to me as bad. It just has an overall aura of cheapness. It has some great action highlights, but no memorable characters, and nothing else really worth talking about. If you thought the first Alien vs. Predator was bad, check this out. Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. Yep, they tried it again, and again they failed. I think eventually the series had to go in this direction after it exhausted every other possibility. I can understand why they wanted to set this one in a common world that we recognize as our own. This gave it some potential to see what kind of damage these species could do in a residential area, but it doesn't live up to its potential as much as it opens the door for typical horror cliches. In the US, anytime a movie gets a PG-13 rating instead of an R, people flip their shit. So with this one, they gave it an R and satisfied everyone's demands. It even says it on the back of the DVD. Honestly, comparing the two movies, I didn't notice the gore that much. The only thing I did notice was how the series went on such a downward slope. It began with two cinematic masterpieces and then de-evolved into I Know What You Shit Last Summer. Hopefully we'll see some better crossovers in the near future. You know what would be awesome? If there was no humans in the movie. Yeah, no discernible dialogue, just aliens and predators in space killing each other for an hour and a half, instead of focusing on a bunch of douchebags caught in the crossfire.
It's true. It's true. Now, this James Rolfe, what is the difference between his opinions and mine? Like, he's a big horror person. I'm a big horror person. He loves the classics, and because of him, I kind of go back and touch on the classics. Okay? He is super into the classic horror films, like the classic Dracula and Frankenstein, all of that. And most of them I haven't even seen. He loves the fucking classics. Now, I would say that, for my taste, he goes too hard on the classics. Like, sometimes there's a better version. Like the, I think it was 56 and the 76 version, I'm just guessing, really, of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I thought the 70 whatever, the 70s version was better than the 50s version. But he won't admit that. For some reason, he is really... Now, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a different thing. You know, whatever. And maybe... but see, there is an accuracy and an inaccuracy to things. And for some reason, I am adverse to those old, classic, black and white. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it more and more. I'm going back, and I'm checking out the old classic, you know, horror films. But let's see how we look. Oh, we look good. Why is it? Am I subscribed to my own channel? That's weird. You keep saying the horror. So, I appreciate, and I appreciate all of the horror fans that try to draw me or their audience, to draw people into their specific. Like there's a Grindhouse guy, the Bloodbath and Beyond. They're the modern B movies. He is classic horror. The Maniac is, you know, You know, I'm really kind of a middle of the road mainstream guy, but I like you know. And then there's the blood, guts, and the gore hounds. But the horror film that almost wasn't. Well, I'll check it out.
In the early 1970s, the independent studio Sun Classic began to produce what they called small, low-budget animal films, movies that would appeal to families by having some sort of animal element, like When the North Wind Blows. The company was formed by Charles Sellier Jr. and his associates Ray Jensen and Claire Farley. They had a big hit with The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, which spun off into a TV series and a made-for-TV movie. They were deciding what to do next when they were submitted a 4-year-old German film called Chariots of the Gods, which was based off the book of the same name. They bought the rights to both the book and the film for $75,000. They released them both and they were hugely successful. The film made $25 million and the book sold 8 million copies. Recognizing that unexplained phenomenon was quickly becoming the next trend, the studio branched out into making made-for-TV documentaries like The Mysterious Monsters, In Search of Noah's Ark, and The Outer Space Connection. Sellier
I haven't heard of any of this. This is all brand new information to my brain. I've never seen or heard of any of this.
was Sun's head of production and later moved on to become the president of the company. Wanting to continue the conspiracy trend as well as make more traditional entertainment, they produced their first sci-fi film, Hangar 18, which was directed by James L. Conway, who'd been with the company for years. They wanted to follow this up with a horror movie. Conway asked to helm the project. He grew up watching the Universal horror monsters, so he was very excited to be able to make a creature feature. Writer David O'Malley wanted to write a script about the things that scared him and create a name for it that reflected something that everyone was afraid of, the Boogeyman. However, in 1980, there already was a movie about the Boogeyman, so he decided to base it on the myth of that old Scottish legend, the Boogans. The Scottish legend that didn't exist and he totally made up. He co-wrote the script with Thomas C.
I don't know if it's a guarantee. Okay, I've heard of the Boogans, but I didn't think that was a guaranteed fakeness. Fake story. I thought there's some truth to it. There was a Scottish cannibal family that was executed in the 1600s.
Chapman, who had just written Hangar 18. They wrote a story about creatures that lived inside.
God, I'm not liking this. He's just talking about so many different things.
An old Colorado mine that start to attack the locals when the mine is reopened. The Boogans was also loosely based off of those things that miners have seen while in the caves. Those things you see just down to the corner of your eye, or that weird feeling that something hungry is watching you, which ties back to the company's roots of unexplained phenomenon. The studio settled on a budget of around $600,000 for the production. Shortly after that, in 1980, the studio was sold by their parent company to Taft Enterprises. Unfortunately, Taft didn't buy Sun for their movies. They wanted their TV contracts. Taft liquidated the Sun movie library. Anything that wasn't locked into a contract was canceled so they could focus on TV development. However, since The Boogans was already booked for theaters in the fall of 1981, they had to allow the production to move forward. Even though Taft had no interest in the production, they still took the time to meddle with it. Sellier wanted The Boogans to be Journey to the Center of the Earth for the 1980s, which changed when they were sold to Taft. Since Sun was known for their family-friendly productions, Taft wanted to up the sex and violence in the film as a reflection.
Oh God, this is boring. Come on, good Batflex, you gotta do better than that. Top 10 leprechaun kills, that'll be fun. Oh God. This is one of those series, eh? See, like, this is what I enjoy about Bloodbath and Beyond, those guys, even though they are leftists. Is they're really into the sort of cheesy, modern B movie stuff. There's a lot of cheesy, modern B movie stuff. They talk about the classics, but they don't like the classics as much as, you know, an ordinary horror fan would, which is weird, right?
Is that a piece of gold I see?
When it comes to horror, the 90s were ripe with cheesy slashers of all shapes and sizes, but the most memorable and magical was the Leprechaun. From the Vegas Strip and a couple trips to the hood to the less than stellar adventure to space, the Lep has had some pretty cool locations to play with when it comes to creating epic kills. I'm Jay from Bloodbath and Beyond, and today we're counting down the top 10 best kills from the Leprechaun franchise. In this list, we're counting down a variety of gory, funny, and inventive kills from the entire Leprechaun franchise. No! Including the latest reincarnation and critically panned WWE reboot, Leprechaun Origins.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms!
Number 10, Potbelly from Leprechaun 2.
No, you're screwing it all up! Don't worry about it, we'll all get what we want.
I haven't seen all these films. Maybe I should. Maybe we could do that one day. Do a fucking... Oh, God, I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
With a ton of memorable moments and unique kills, Leprechaun 2 is one of the best in the franchise. One of the more notable deaths is Morty's. Cody traps the Leprechaun in a safe, and Morty takes advantage of the situation by claiming 3 wishes.
You know the routine. You're caught. You owe me 3 wishes.
His first wish is for the Leprechaun's pot of gold, which materializes inside of his stomach, stretching it out and obviously causing him a ton of pain. His second wish is probably one of his bigger mistakes, and that's to let the Leprechaun out of the safe in order to help him. This goes hand in hand with his third wish, which is to have the pot of gold removed from his stomach altogether.
Get it out of me!
Of course, the Leprechaun is a sadistic little jerk and decides to remove the pot of gold by cutting open Morty's stomach, killing him in the process. Number 9, Super Hot Espresso Shot, Leprechaun 2.
What's your
See, I never saw that. I've never even seen that kill.
next gig, huh? One of Santa's elves or one of the 7 dwarfs?
This death plays out in a coffee shop where the barista, played by Michael McDonald, best known for his role as Stuart on Mad TV, continues to insult and bully the Leprechaun until he boils over.
Boom, gotcha.
Making quick work of the waiter by pinning him to the counter with 2 forks, the Leprechaun blasts steam from the espresso machine straight into his face, causing severe burns and a little bit of face melting. Number 8, Shoddy Too Hottie, Leprechaun in the Hood.
Freeze, little stealing motherfucker!
In one of the most gory kills in the franchise, Mac Daddy Onassis, played by rapper Ice-T, is accompanied by his bodyguard to confront Butch and Postmaster P in a hallway. The Leprechaun is lurking in the background, and when he's in the hood, he's generally up to no good.
But on the man of green, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good.
The Leprechaun ends up using magic to blow.
Wow. Lep in the hood to do no good? Oh my. Actually, did Leprechaun in the Hood do well? It obviously did well enough for a sequel. I mean, but it's just so... See, this is cheese. This is extreme levels of cheese. That's what this is.
A hole straight through the henchman like a shotgun blast. It's quick, it's gory, and we even have a little bit of dark humor. Number 7, One Deadly Bong Hit, Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Yeah, you like that, huh? That's good shit.
With all of the shenanigans going on in the Leprechaun's life, he finally finds a place to just hang out, get some R&R, and, you know, have a dab or two. Some people get paranoid when they're stoned, and well, I guess the Leprechaun gets a little more murderous. The Lep ends up smoking some killer bud, and then proceeds to stick his new stoner friend in the stomach with a bong as we watch it fill up and bubble with blood.
Thanks for the smoke.
Number 6, Babes and Lawnmower Blades.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of these kills. I think I've only seen the first movie.
Leprechaun 2.
Just a second. I took the whole night off for you. And what about those chili dogs?
Growing up and catching the first few Leprechaun movies on late-night horror movie marathons, this kill holds a very special place in my heart, as it was one of the first set of bare breasts that I had ever seen. Bridget, who moments earlier turned down Ian, stands in her garage and begins to undress. She asks him to kiss her, but what Ian's about to kiss is actually a set of vertical lawnmower blades, and Ian learns the hard way that his fantasy was just an illusion. Despite being an off-screen kill, this is a death that many will recall as being much more graphic than it actually is, simply because of how unique it was.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Number 5, Chimney Fakeout, Leprechaun Origins.
I mean,
That's crazy. I think I've seen that kill.
what's that day done on?
What the fuck does that mean?
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun Origins was almost unanimously hated by fans of the original series. Instead of casting Warwick Davis, who played all previous renditions of the character, WWE opted to cast wrestler Hornswoggle as the Leprechaun, who bared little to no resemblance to the Leprechaun we came to love, and instead looked more or less like Pumpkinhead's baby brother. That said, there are a couple great gore effects in this film, including a shocking kill where Sophie and Ben accidentally kill their friend Jenny while attempting to lure the Leprechaun into the cabin.
He's coming.
Number 4, the Pogo Stick, Leprechaun.
Now we're
Yeah, I've seen this one.
going to play. Do you want to play with me?
While the Leprechaun grew to become a funny, over-the-top killer, the original played it fairly straight. It's definitely goofy, but it's still much darker than its lighthearted sequels. This kill, however, was the first time where we get a taste of the Lep's playful.
Okay, I'm going to take a break from streaming, and then we'll be back. Okay, later on. Not sure exactly what time, but we'll be back.
Nature when he grabs a pogo stick and decides to jump on a man's chest until he can't breathe.
This old Lep, he played one. He played pogo on his lawn. Teach you to steal me gold.
Number 3, the sex bot, Leprechaun 3.
Hey, remember the love machine. Come on!
Easily one of the most ambitious and most memorable kills in the entire franchise, this death has a sexy and hilarious build-up in which casino owner Mitch is watching some late-night sex line infomercials. One of the models climbs out of the TV and begins to seduce him. While this is happening, the Leprechaun decides to put his acting chops to the test on a couple late-night commercials.
The signs point to a tragedy about to happen.
At the exact moment that Mitch finally realizes that this has to be fake, the model turns into a life-size robot with a big set of bolt-ons. The sex bot gives him the ride of his life until she eventually electrocutes him. Number 2, Officer Down, Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Oh, it's your gold. Of course, you're a leprechaun, so we'll just hand it over to you.
Rory and Emily are stopped and harassed by officers Thompson and Whitaker. The Leprechaun appears and decides to go toe-to-toe with the officers. First, he swiftly takes out Thompson by using his own flashlight against him and sticking it right through his stomach. Next up, we have the epic standoff between Officer Whitaker and the Leprechaun. After a quick action sequence, the officer steps back, not knowing that the Lep had already ripped off his leg completely. Not letting this minor flesh wound get in the way, he attempts to hop over on his good leg but inevitably falls over before bleeding to death off-screen. Before we get into our top kill from the Leprechaun franchise, let's take a look at some honorable mentions.
God.
Praise be, good Reverend. Now give up me golden fruit. to you, lad. Always wear a prophylactic.
Number 1, the inflation Leprechaun 3.
What do you keep her around for anyway? She's not worth a damn.
She's got a way of filling out a costume.
I could look just as good, you know.
The most epic death in the franchise is that of casino employee Loretta, played by Carolyn Williams, most famous for her role as Stretch in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Loretta is envious of the casino magician's younger assistant, and she wishes to have her 20-year-old body back.
Give me the body of a stacked 20-year-old.
The leprechaun grants her wish, and she's walking around the casino floor looking better than ever. That is until Fazio steals her magical coin, forcing the leprechaun to revoke her wish.
Your boobs are big. Your butt is small. But still you're in for quite a fall.
He starts by inflating her chest an abnormal amount of cup sizes, then adding a little too much lip filler, and finally plumping up her booty to the point that she basically looks like a weird-ass duck. Anyway, she tries to escape, but gets caught on the doorframe, forcing her to pop like a balloon.
Now that was quite a load to have to explode. What a lovely lass. I had to blow up your ass, but now I must hit the road.
What did you think of our list? What were some of your favorite kills from the Leprechaun franchise? If you're a horror fan, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more horror-related top 10s and reviews.
Okay. We'll talk to you guys soon.